Thank you very much for being here for the fourth hearing of the Religious Liberty Commission. I'm Mary Margaret Bush, the Commission's designated federal officer and director, and it's my privilege to announce the official opening of our proceedings today. I'd also like to introduce the Commission's chairman, Lieutenant Governor Patrick of Texas.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mary. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. Well, we had a great plan. We were going to show a video of Charlie Kirk. Unfortunately, it was working fine last night, and we were just informed by the booth that the video is not working, but the audio is working. So we will play. It was going to be about a 2-minute video and then a 5-minute video, so we'll listen to the audio. This is our third hearing for the Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty, and it's a continuation of the hearing we had earlier this month on education. But because of what's happened in the last month, we decided to start with a discussion of the ultimate taking of religious liberty. And that's when you take someone's life, or you attack a school, as in Minnesota, or you attack a church, as in Michigan. That's the ultimate denying religious liberty, when they take your life just because you're speaking out on your faith, or you're an institution of faith where believers can gather and feel safe. So we're going to begin after this audio, and maybe the video will appear. After you hear the audio, the screen will come up, and we will begin our hearing on this topic and a discussion of it, and then we'll go into our hearing as scheduled. So with that, I guess we don't really have to dim the lights, but we can do that, and we can listen to it quietly. Thank you.
Aristotle wrote that all men seek to know, and I find that when I go to these college campuses, that students deep down, they want to know, and it's time that we teach them something. We must steep our children in wisdom. How do you do that? You read the great books. You study Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Aquinas, Augustine. You guys should be here to read really old good books, to understand ancient philosophy, to become a well-rounded citizen of what is good, true, and beautiful. Religious freedom in the United States Constitution is unlike anything else. The more I study the framers and the founders, the more thankful I am to God that we live in this country. I can't tell you how profound, I believe, divinely inspired. Freedom cannot exist without virtue. And so freedom will come after, and it's happening right now. People go to church and give their life to God. You cannot have a free society if you do not have a society that values God. My kids are my most important thing in the world. My wife, my kids, my relationship to God, top 3 things, right? God, wife, kids, in that order. The necessity of virtue was fundamental to the American founding. The ability to pursue virtue without somebody getting in the way. The founding fathers designed this system of self-government, believing that only with a moral and religious people this was possible. The paramount issue of our time is the question of, what is a human being? Is it an image bearer and something worthy of protection and dignity that has rights, or did it come into existence because of a splendid accident? Answer to that question dictates your politics, your morality, your government, your actions, all of it. We still have speech. We still have the ability to assemble and spread ideas. I think that a revival is not just, likely. I think it's inevitable. Courage is the ultimate virtue. Without it, there are no other virtues. Courage is committing yourself to the correct course of action, regardless of the cost associated to it. I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. And we're just going to kind of raise them with reading, writing, and arithmetic. We'll give them skills, but not values. This has penetrated so many schools, including supposed Christian schools in this country, and itself is actually a contradiction. Because saying that you will not teach values is a statement of value. There is no such thing as a valueless statement. Everything has values laced into it. So to say that we're not going to do morality or ethics is basically saying that itself is a statement of morality and ethics. Now, understand how silly this is.
any environment when you're raising children, any environment when you have human beings, morals will always come through. So imagine if you're running a 4th grade classroom and a kid steals a pencil. Does the teacher say, that's perfectly fine, we don't do moral judgments around here? If the kid starts bullying somebody else, we have anti-bullying campaigns across the country, while simultaneously we're told that the education system is only about reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now, here's the problem, is that we have successfully pushed back on the left and the secular movement on DEI and wokeism and transgenderism, mainly because when you create a vacuum, when you get rid of God, Christianity, biblical truth, Western values, and you say we're just going to be a value agnostic education system, that's how you get DEI and you get CRT, because some viewpoint is going to fill that vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. And so we have been led by the whole idea of modernity, that these kids are just going to kind of figure it out for themselves. And so then this other side fills the void rather quickly. How did this happen? It happened because in the modern world, God is just a guess, judgment is the greatest sin, and self is God. So think about it. Judgment is the greatest sin of the modern world. And incorporated in biblical Christian moral teaching is an idea that there's a right or a wrong, and a good and an evil, and a standard of ethical and moral behavior. That bothers some people because they're saying, well, who are you to tell a 4th grader how to act? That is the purpose of education, which is to tell a 4th grader how to act. It's not a byproduct. It is the mission statement. It is the primary thing. And so what you've found in the secular West, and it's finally changing, is we have skilled graduates with no values. We have graduates that can write codes of AI, but they have no character. They met some of whom, not all of them, know stuff, but they have no idea why they're actually here. They went through education and they can tell you how, but they can't tell you why. They can tell you what they can do, but they don't tell you any of the implications behind it. That is not education, everybody. That is something completely different. And far too often, we as Christians get very apprehensive because we feel as if we do not want to be judgy, or we don't want to tell other people how to live. Everybody, we should bring everybody to the truth of the gospel. We should bring everybody to the scriptures. And that starts in Christian education. So the 3 questions, and you guys know all of these questions, and education should be talking about them all the time. How did I get here? Why am I here? And where am I going? That's it. If you accomplish those 3 questions, it doesn't matter if they are struggling to be able to, do the quadratic equation. It's fine. We could teach them that eventually. But if they know, how did I get here? Why am I here? And where am I going? You have done a phenomenal job as an instructor, as a parent. What I find on campus is they can't answer any of those questions. Tell other people how to live. Everybody, we should bring everybody to the truth of the gospel. We should bring everybody to the scriptures. And that starts in Christian education. So the 3 questions, and you guys know all of these questions, and education, we talk about them all the time. How did I get here? Why am I here? And where am I going? That's it. If you accomplish those 3 questions, it doesn't matter if they are struggling to be able to, do the